good with the world? It's your boy, G-Litty Gangster, coming to you from the Sneaker Warrior podcast, exclusively on the Sneaker Warrior Network. Today we have with us Don Flizzy, engineer, producer, artist, and we got my boy, Infa Man, also producer and artist.
Yep.
Let them know where you from.
From the Bronx, Marble Hill houses.
Let them where you know from. Where you from.
Actually, me and my man from the same neighborhood, the Bronx.
Okay,
Marble Hill.
both from Marble Hill.
Yeah, right there on the west side. West side over there by 225th and Broadway. You know, not too far from Van Cortlandt and Kingsbridge, you know, different landmarks that people know where that's from, you know what I'm saying, that area.
So for the people out here not familiar with New York, so you get an idea of what we're talking about here. How did y'all meet?
Man, I've known Dom pretty much from the neighborhood. We just got acquainted like these past 2 years because of acquaintances.
Okay.
And stuff like that, and mutual
I was
friends.
gonna ask, was it music or was it something in the hood?
It was something more like music too, because I've been seeing his grind on the net, on the internet, and he been seeing my grind, and we follow each other, and basically we said, you know, it's inevitable that we do music together and do some type of thing together. You know?
I love to see them kind of organic connections, because you never really see, well, I can't say never, but it's very rare that I've experienced that where I have somebody reaching out that I'm trying to connect to, you know, digitally like that, and it actually pans out, you know, to fruition. So
You'd be surprised who you meet. You'd be surprised who does what close to you. You know what I mean? A bunch of people in my neighborhood that I didn't even know did music.
And that's what I'm always searching for, because it seems like you'll always link with somebody who's far distance, far away from you, but like locally, it's hard to get that up.
I guess it's because everyone's not trying to like collaborate in the neighborhood, because they feel like I want to be the first from the neighborhood to make it and give the neighborhood that name and that stamp and approval. So we kind of like stopping that trend. We starting a new trend that locals should work together and make that area like how, let's say, Buffalo and they did it up in Buffalo, things
and
of that nature.
You also want to make that local thing and make it a global thing. You don't want to just localize it. A lot of artists will localize themselves and they get stuck in that box, like you said, with that mentality. I want to be first to bust out of the hood, and I want to do this.
Exactly.
It's like, but broaden your
horizons.
It's like people don't know how to expand. People don't know how to be open-minded
you want to
when it comes to networking and stuff like that. So that's what I learned throughout the years, and meeting people, different type of people that put different things on the table.
You bring in a whole different audience now that you might not have been tapped into, and vice versa. That person is picking up on your audience that they haven't, you know.
And nowadays, music is a competitive sport. So nobody, you know, sometimes it's like we in a team, but somebody's probably looking at you as like, nah, that's too much compo for me. I need to step up. You know what I mean? But I feel like the competition in rap is good, because that brings drive for us. Like, example, me and you in the studio, we writing a song. We don't have any beef, but it's like, bro, you better get on this song and do your thing, because I'm about to kill the song. It's called love at the end of the day.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
I love that energy.
I'm gonna smoke on the beat. You better do the same, because
especially if I'm coming on first and you finishing the track, you better buy it.
Exactly. So that's where I like to see, you know what I mean, how music it takes place. Even if it's like so many people trying to do one thing, it's like it's too many chiefs and not enough Indians at the end of the day. So with me, I'm down to work with anybody. As long as what you putting on the table makes sense, I'm all for it.
You know what I really liked about Infa when I first started doing things with him is when I first started doing I asked him to do the Sneaker Store concert series that, you know, we put together. You know, me and Jamie and me and Reggie, you know, we put this project together, and you know, it's coming out real soon, you know, to the network, and I had to, you know, get the whole thing together.
Not to cut you, but let's tell the people about it, because they don't know about it. About the series.
Well, the series is a series that's going to be shown from this store. It was filmed in Butterfly, and it has concept of all six different artists that we use for 6 different shows. The shows are phenomenal. The artists are phenomenal. We know we got people like Dasher, Infa Man, and my man M. Dot. M. Dot is from Mount Vernon. You know, I gotta definitely represent Mount Vernon, IV. So basically, it's putting the sneakers and hip hop together. So, you know, it's like a performance of, like, they did a show of their songs that they actually putting out, or project that they're working on, and we actually interviewed them a little, and they performed. You know, we introduced them to the world, and then they performed. Because we had to put it together and get the artists. I was really instrumental in that. I had to, you know, help the team, and I found Infa Man, I found M. Dodd, I found Dasher Exclusive. Those are a few of the artists, and of course we had Shayna Ashley. She's a battle rapper who's one of the.
Shout out to Shayna.
Yeah, she was dope. You know, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it. I don't want to give you all the information of what you're gonna see and the shows, but the shows are phenomenal. All the artists were beautiful. All of the stuff they did was phenomenal, and he definitely did his thing. Infa Man did his thing.
Definitely a movie.
Yeah, producers usually that glue. What? How did you get those particular artists? What made you feel like those are particular?
That's a great question. I basically was looking for someone who had a story to tell, a different sound. You know, they had a different element to hip hop. Not everybody was actually the same, which makes the show really grab different audiences and reach out to different, you know, areas and make it global. You know, make it go all across the world.
For me, that's my ideal show. Like in terms of buying content tickets,
Yeah,
that's what I want to purchase.
exactly.
I want to see variety. I don't want to see a show of every artist doing the same thing.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't want to have a bunch of drill rappers, a bunch of boom bap rappers, a bunch of whatever, you know. I mean, it's more than one style of rap, especially now.
Everyone,
you know?
Especially with this year too, there's a lot of drill. So sometimes you got to become like a chameleon, you know what I mean, a chameleon, and blend in with the group that's in right now. I wouldn't call it clout chasing. I would just say just being aware of what's sounding good and what's in.
That's super important.
You know what I mean?
And a lot of artists lose sight of that. That's super important that you mentioned that. Tell us a little bit about your music.
Man,
about your sound.
Man, my sound is different. I don't put myself with the ordinary rapper. You know what I mean? I definitely do have a story to tell.
I can see the bag, boy, my thoughts is bum rushing. I'm a breath of fresh air. You can call it lung crushing. And them haters like Infa Man is always on something. Cause I'm always on a mission, boy. This is Bronx stunting, what buzzing.
So, you know, it all started in Marble Hill. You know what I mean? Like, my pops was one of them parents, real strict. He wanted me to play baseball, I played basketball. You know what I mean? Like, he wanted me to listen to Spanish music, I listened to black music. There was just a lot of things that came from a Hispanic background. So a lot of that was my mom was just like, listen, you do what you want to do, whatever makes you feel comfortable. And to hear that at a young age, I wanted to do whatever I wanted to at 6, 7 years old. I wanted to be a rapper. You know what I mean? Listening to Red Alert. You know what I mean? My favorite group of all time in the 90s was Black Moon. So, you know, I kind of got like that little motivation from them. Buckshot Shorty was definitely like my number one on in that little group of rappers. Chief Rocker, like everything, Lords of the Underground, like those were the rappers I was listening to, and my father didn't like that. He didn't speak no English, so he was like, listen, you gonna turn this off, or you ain't gonna have no radio in the room. I used to sleep on radio. I used to take the radio from his room, take it to my room, listen, and that's where
funny story.
That's where Infa Man comes from. You know what I mean? Like, I make beats, I do it all. You know what I mean? I'm a jack of all trades, if you could say. You know what I mean? I make beats.
So both your own production.
Oh yeah.
So the last project is a compilation?
The last project I did was the God tape. Out of five songs on that EP, I did three beats.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The other two, it was from other producers that I, you know, made.
Flizzy, you did any work on that project? Or?
Nah, that's funny because that you mentioned that me and him haven't actually did no music together, as far as like him getting on one of my tracks and things of that nature, or we doing a track together, but we in the works, you know, doing that.
So you just planted to see here. So the next time you on here, the world's gonna want to hear that.
Exactly. And that's the beautiful thing about working with people. You can tap in and do things with them and make it that much better. You know, that's a beautiful thing.
Your sound production wise, how would you describe your sound production wise, or do you kind of like deal with the artists that you're working with, and you can kind of?
That's a good question. I would say my sound is not a sound that every artist might want to tap into, but that's not because I don't want to do a track that they like rapping to or singing or whatever. I just try to keep my sound where it identifies who Don Flizzy is, you know what I mean? And if I don't do that, then I feel like I'm trying to just do music just to be doing music, just to have people say, oh, I got a track from you, but that's not really me. I mean, you can make a beat to make money, but I like to have my sound be identified with who I am as a producer. You feel where I'm coming from?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Genuine like that.
So I be looking for also when it comes to like producers or even people that can put me in a position to talk to someone else. You know what I'm saying? The originality from you know what I mean? Like I don't want something watered down, so when we get to the person we need to speak to, they already heard that game already. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to sound watered down to people. So when I met Dom, I mean, again, I knew Dom since I was a little younger, but it was a lot of things that I didn't know about him until now. So now it's a situation where I'm learning from him as an artist, and I'm still working on myself also as far as my image. You know what I mean? So I'm always trying to figure out like what is Infa Man? Who is Infa Man? You know what I'm saying? Like I know, as far as my music goes, it catches a lot of attention, but the face, you know what I'm saying? Like when you look at Infa Man, like what is he really about? So I wanna just put that out there to people. You know what I mean? Because like again, like Dom says, I'm an original person myself. You know what I mean? I don't wanna sound like the average dude that, you know, they have to press next to. I want them to keep listening to that one song, even if it's one song out of 4 they don't like, but they caught it. And they heard it.
There's millions of artists out there, and that's the thing, is like we got to find a way to separate ourselves from the pack, like what makes us stand out.
And see, that's the great thing about the Sneaker Store Concert Series. The platform is going to give artists the chance to show their sound and show their skills and show their talents to the world, you know, universally. And we got a good vehicle right here, you know what I'm saying? And this vehicle is going to be, you know, phenomenal. It's just, I can't wait. I can't wait till everybody could tap in and see everything we've been doing behind the scenes and see, you know, the work we put in, because we definitely put a lot of work in.
And here on the Sneaker Warrior podcast, we always ask our guests, like, how do you like intertwine the sneaker culture with hip hop culture, or when is like the first time that resonated with you that was a thing?
That's a great question. I kind of go back to almost the old school era.
That's what I asked. I know you've seen it from the beginning.
Like, you know, with the Run DMC, you know, my Adidas song and things of that nature. Because, you know, a lot of cats back in those days wasn't actually rocking Adidas at first. You know, we was rocking maybe Nikes or different type of sneakers that was like Converse or things like that. Even going further back, Pro Keds, that's going way back. But at the end of the day, sneakers and hip hop has always been intertwined. In my sight, I've never seen it.
And there was a Nike song out there, for y'all who don't know. There was a Nike song out there. I gotta Google that and remember who made that song. But there was a Nike song out there too.
you know, that's another thing that you just touched on, something that's good. Google wasn't around like how this new generation can Google everything. We had to do harder research. The research was, and I love that aspect of music. Research is easy now, but it shouldn't be to me. But I'm not knocking it, because I'm not knocking the way things are.
Here's the thing, though. I think it should be, but the problem is most people don't utilize it. Most people pull out a device and don't utilize it for the things we're talking about.
Exactly.
For the use of finding information.
But Google's your best friend when you want to know something that's very important, something that's pertinent that you need to find out and tap into. How did this start? How much records were sold? How many sneakers were sold? Who started this company? Who invented this? That's history, and there's an artist that I really like from the West Coast. He did his history on hip hop, Kendrick Lamar. He tapped into the game, and he's on the West Coast. So that's what it's about, tapping into the history, where it started from, and you grow as an artist like that. You don't grow as an artist by saying, I'm gonna just do what I do and my sound is gonna work and my style. You gotta know where it came from in order to elevate and to make it grow further.
Especially when you're saying you're doing it for the culture. Like you hear people use that term like so loosely, like doing it for the culture, doing it for the culture. Meanwhile, 10 years ago, nobody even referred to it as the
nobody
culture.
cared about the culture.
Exactly.
What the culture meant when when there's a good sound out there. You know what I mean? And everything that surrounds music, graffiti, dancing, a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? People don't. That's an element where hip hop was the way it started.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when people start to get like those type of informations in their brain, now it's starting to make sense for us. Like a lot of stuff didn't make sense to me because I just wanted to be a rapper. Like I just wanted to put out my music. I didn't care what was around me. You know what I mean? But then being that my mother's side of the family was very music oriented. You know what I mean? My uncle, may he rest in peace. He was a guitarist in the '80s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had his own little group in the '80s. And in Manhattan and stuff in the Lower East Side. Yeah. My parents were born in 28th and 9th in the Chelsea area.
Okay.
So at that time, jazz and all those genres was a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then my father's side of the family, everything's in the origin of Cuba and stuff like that. I like percussionists. I like listening to those type of.
That's what I was gonna say.
You know
It's
what I
like
mean?
you came from a good background to be in hip hop. It's the same thing. My family's Caribbean, but my dad, when he came here, played in a lot of salsa bands. He played with Eddie Palmieri, played with Mongo Santa Maria, played with a lot of the greats.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was like
60s,
hearing that at home.
Young All-Stars and stuff.
Yeah. So it was like hearing that stuff at home and then hearing the
motivated
reggae.
you,
And
motivated you.
So like once hip hop came, it was like, yeah, this is my element. Like y'all had, you know, where you came in and what came up, what you came up with. This is me right here. Yeah.
That's great. It's always a story behind how you started, how you got your basic. Because like we grew up in the beginning of it's the 50-year anniversary. That's something we didn't even touch on. Yeah. But the 50th anniversary is really big because some people saying it started before '73, but it doesn't matter. We had to have a start. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the thing is, hip hop. When I was going to high school, you know what I'm saying, we listening to different, rap, and we're like, yo, this is crazy. We seeing people DJ in parks and things like that's not happening now. Now you're not having people pull a whole set, turntables, big speakers, and park jams.
Yeah, I missed the
that's the beginning. The beginning was Cedric Ave and Harlem. You go to Harlem, you see nothing but parks, everybody DJing, and that's the great thing about hip hop is growing into a billion dollar corporation.
That's one thing I
and
will
nobody
say,
saw that in the '70s.
Is one thing I will say about Harlem is if you ever swing around Harlem in the summertime, around August, just before the African American Day Parade, you'll catch all the block parties. And it'll give you like that feeling. It's like reminiscent of.
That's facts. That's facts.
Because we do a big thing, 141st Street, we do a big thing, OFO, our family organization. And it's like a competition.
Okay.
Like who's having the biggest block party, who's bringing out who.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is that nobody really knows that in Marble Hill, Kid Capri used to have parties in Marble Hill.
You touched that. You touched something.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
that's where when I found that out, that's when it was like, damn, now I know I'm kind of proud where I'm from because at least we have some type of history in Marble Hill houses. You know what I mean? Nobody really knows that until, if somebody that was living there in the 70s and 80s, the only people who would know that would be them. But when I found that out at a young age, that was more of a drive for me. You know what I mean? Like, damn, Kid Capri was probably partying in my building. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't know that. But he was in Marble Hill doing DJs here and there. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing that I feel like what made Marble Hill like somewhere a place to be. You know what I mean? As far as artists, creativity, and artists that surround us.
Well, since you touched on that, Marble Hill definitely has history. We had a group called the Rockwell Incorporation. They started in the '70s. Then I was part of a group called Grandmaster Crew. Kid Capri has been definitely in Marble Hill. He's came to jams that we did back in the days and performed, and he came through. He's right up the hill in Kingsbridge, which is part of our neighborhood. It's part of our district right there. Right. So at the end of the day, I know Capri. I know his mom. May she rest in peace, Ms. Love. I know his whole family. Basically, I know his family. So he's definitely is a motivating factor in hip hop. And he's still a motivating factor, and he's a legend right now. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You got to give him his flowers. I give Kid Capri his flowers while he's still here.
Yeah. If you had a Mount Rushmore with DJs, Kid Capri got to be on.
He definitely got to be a Mount Rushmore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And the first DJ I listened to was Red Alert.
Yeah,
That was the reason why my father took my radio from the room. Every time I hear it, it's over. Like,
he took it back. But look, for those who don't know, this is the thing about hip hop. To be as iconic as hip hop is, here in New York, the birthplace, we only had like 2 major stations playing hip hop.
Facts.
Now, I'm not talking about KCR, I'm not talking about Bobito and Stretch, I'm not talking about the independents. We had Kiss, BLS.
That's
and
facts.
you went turned in that dial to Kiss to hear what Red was playing. He was playing his camp. You turned back down to hear Magic playing the Juice Crew. And depending on what side you was on, if you really if you was really on that uptown Brooklyn, you was uptown, you kept it on Red Alert. If you was biased like that, if you was from Brooklyn, Queens, you was biased, you kept it on Magic. But that was it. We had those 2 dials, and that's where you made your mixtapes.
Yeah, but that's
pop that cassette tape in, record from here. He goes on commercial, you turn the dial back down here. Get that.
Bro, I used to take my mother's tapes and go over the old school music that she used to be so, bro. Listen, bro, all my father's tapes, everything, all his little Roomba songs, all the Spanish song, Red Alert or Funk Flex, one of the 2.
You put a little tissue inside of the little hole.
Oh my God, you're taking it back. And that's another thing. A lot of people in the new generation, they didn't get to experience the cassette tapes. Yeah. You know, I still have cassette tapes. Yeah. I never, man. I got some stuff, some memorabilia that is amazing, man.
And that's the thing. You brought up YouTube. There are people like yourself that have that stuff on. Because I too have some stuff like exclusive. Where that's the thing. When artists would come by the radio stations, there was no recording for YouTube. Mm-hmm. So unless someone in their home somewhere recorded that, there was no record of that.
Of course, you're right.
I mean, I'm sure the radio stations cataloged it or whatever, but it wasn't available to the public.
Yeah, there's no public record.
Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah, so it's like that's like golden for you to be able to, especially when you're era now, we can transfer that digitally and repost it and stuff like that.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was definitely a journey when it came to like the start of my music and stuff, you know what I mean? Like I didn't want to be in the background. I want my face everywhere, you know what I'm saying? I want my face in milk cartons and I ain't even missing, you know what I'm saying? Like I want that type of energy, you know what I'm saying? Like I've always been that way, you know what I mean? And now that we in 2023, like I feel like my music will sound a little bit more proper than what it sounded in 2001.
You'll see that growth, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the quality sound, you know what I mean? Like I learned a lot. I learned from other people, producers, and I just forced myself to learn different things. In making beats, I just forced myself to do it because I didn't have nothing else to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to school, I wasn't doing none of that. Yeah. And it was a lot. So when I started making beats and I actually learned how to create a beat, it was just like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like Dr. and Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, you know what I'm saying? Like I could be a rapper one day and then I can just say, you know what? Forget rap, let me be a beat maker. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then that took off. Now I can probably say I know how to make a beat better than the average producer.
Yeah. That's what's up.
But that's just me for me, you know what I mean?
I just got one thing I want to say real quick is the love of hip hop was the driving force. As when we was growing up in my era, we did it for the love. We didn't even do it to make money like everybody's kind of goal now, and that's what I think is missing.
Didn't even know.
And we got to get back to having the love of hip hop, not just do it to become a star and make money. Because if you do it naturally with the love, you're gonna be a better artist.
Especially now when you know that the money is there, you don't have to worry about the money. Mm-hmm. Before you had to worry about is it gonna be money in it. You know there's money there, so do what you love.
That's facts.
All right, just let the people know where they can find you.
Right now, you can find me on all the major platforms like Instagram and Facebook and TikTok under Dom Flizzy, DOMFLIZZY. You know, basically that's where I got a lot of my stuff up.
You too, Infa.
You can find me on anything, Infaman, INFAMAN, any platform, Apple, Spotify. My link is in the bio on my Instagram, and it'll take you to the link tree, and it'll take you to all my videos and everything I've pretty much got on the internet.
All right. So we want y'all to tap in. Signing off. Sneaker Warrior Podcast.
Peace.
Blessings.
Peace.
Yeah. Where's the bell? You don't have the bell?